The Kids Media Club podcast is open for sponsorship, and we're changing things up a little bit where we're going to be offering feature episodes ahead of major industry events like Licensing Expo, Annecy, BLE, MIPCOM, Toy Fair, and more. Why don't you strategically put a conversation in the ears of your stakeholders before these events so you can warm up conversations before you go? Reach out to us individually on LinkedIn or drop us an email at info@kidsmediaclubpodcast.com.
Okay, so this is a bonus episode of the Kids Media Club podcast. I'm here with Emily, and we wanted to chat about Netflix and some of the changes that they're making in the kids space.
Emily in talking about Netflix. Shocker. Yeah, no, really, it's an interesting time. But I felt like I was being trolled last week because I was on holidays, I was on leave, and yeah, Netflix decided to make a big announcement in the kids segment. So they have released the Netflix Playground app. So Netflix have been working on a gaming strategy for a number of years. They really clarified around it towards the end of 2025, and we ran me and the team put together a Netflix gaming report looking at the games that they had and how you access them and all this kind of stuff. One of the main issues being the way you access Netflix games is you have to go and download the app separately and then log in via your
Yep.
Netflix account. So it's not like seamlessly within the platform.
Yep.
And the other thing about that is we were seeing that their kids games also weren't available within kids profiles, which, that was a tricky one to solve because, you don't want to have kids, you don't want to have a gateway for kids to exit the environment that they're in, like a digital environment that they're in, and to go to
Yep.
the app store and start clicking and going mad. But at the same time, it was a major discovery hurdle as well. So we put together a report on Netflix games that went out in December of last year to clients of the Netflix Kids Content Report. And actually, I wrote about it in my newsletter, and subsequently had outreach of the Netflix gaming team saying, "Hey, yeah, we know about the problems and we've tried to fix them this weekend
Right.
actually." And they were kind about it, and they were like, we wanted to let you know because like we hear your pain on some of this. So Netflix have four main pillars when it comes to games. They have kids games, mainstream games, party games, and narrative games. Now, what they define as a kids game is really narrow. And
Right.
this is around 3% of the games that they
So what
have,
do they define as a kids
like
game?
like Peppa Pig, right? Like, but whereas
Okay.
what we define as kids games from the independent Netflix Kids Content Report point of view is anything that's going to appeal to a kid, like genuine kid appeal. So
Right.
like a kid could play solitaire, but solitaire isn't really going to appeal to kids that much, right? But like
Yep.
something like an infinite runner game or something like that will definitely have kids appeal. Um, and so there's lots of there's lots of games that are there, lots of games that are doing well. They have different ones. Some are very IP driven, like Peppa Pig, like I said, like there's a SpongeBob game. Others
Right.
are like totally IP agnostic, which is interesting. As I said, they have things like Solitaire, Battleship, that kind of thing. But the Netflix Playground app launched last week. That's kind of like more of a world of games for very, very much
Right.
for preschoolers, right? Like it's young skewing. They say it's 8 and under, but it's pretty young. So it has limited IP available. So from a third party point of view, it has Peppa Pig, Sesame Street, and then a couple of IP from Dr. Seuss. It also then has Bad Dinosaurs, which I think is really
Right.
interesting. We talked to the
Yep.
creators of Bad Dinosaurs, gosh, it's probably like 2 years ago now. And it
Probably.
has StoryBots. So StoryBots
Okay.
is StoryBots Netflix actually own outright. They bought the company behind it a number of years ago. So they'll have the
Yep.
rights to do all of that. And then I thought Bad Dinosaurs was such an interesting pick because I definitely think there are currents going around that underleveraged IP could have a moment, right? So like the
Yeah.
last decade, there's been so many great series launched, like Bad Dinosaurs, that we know really was really sticky and really connected and cut through. That were then kind of like one and done and kind of left on the shelf, and all that value that's been proven is not there to be leveraged. So Netflix doubling down on gaming, gaming interfaces for Bad Dinosaurs is a really interesting one. The other thing that they did as part of this announcement was they announced a few new seasons and series renewals. One of which as well was Trash Truck. So Trash Truck is
Right.
like a super soft preschool show, hasn't had new seasons since 2021. And again, what I would consider, like we can see from the Netflix data that it's not like a top 10 season or anything, a series or anything like that, but there's a buoyancy to it, right? Like that.
But it's hanging around.
It's hanging around, and when something's hanging around with no new content or no new activation, you have to pay attention to that. So, yeah, just a really interesting one that they brought this Netflix Playground app. It's all of their gaming is no apps. No ads or in-app purchases. The Playground app definitely has a much more seamless integration with Netflix.
Right.
The login and stuff is a lot more seamless.
And you can watch video content and play games all within the same app.
At the moment,
No?
it's just games. I picked up the release last week and I thought it must be both, but actually it's just gaming. It's just gaming for now, as far as I've seen. I did also think they were trolling me because they released it in the US, Canada, the UK, Australia, and New Zealand, but not Ireland.
Yeah.
So
I mean, there's probably a nerve center within Netflix going, don't switch it on the island yet. We're not
Emily,
quite
we're gonna
ready
be talking about
for
it."
we're not quite ready for Emily to really interrogate what's going on here. So hold back.
Yeah. So I managed to get my mitts on it. Netflix, you didn't win this one, but it's going to be available in the rest of the world later in the month. So yeah, an interesting one, as I said. Like, I think it let's see. Let's particularly for Bad Dinosaurs, let's see if this like drives some more interest.
Yeah.
And but I think it underscores that Netflix are they have continued momentum in what they're doing on gaming. They're not just it's not just, oh, we launched gaming and there it is, let's see it never. It's really kind of it's forward facing in that kind of way.
And do you think there's the potential for it to include video, to be a real kind of walled garden just for a kids audience?
I thought so. And I, when I saw the announcement, I thought, oh my gosh, is this like the answer to YouTube Kids, right? Like, is this a walled garden, fully curated answer to YouTube Kids? At the moment, I'm not seeing video content streaming in there. And I don't know that, I think it depends. Like, I've had feedback from other parents, the people I'm working with on this with, who are parents, who've said, if I want my kid playing games, I want them playing games. If I want them watching video, I want them watching video. I don't necessarily want them to like kids of that age to just completely flow,
to move seamlessly between the two.
Okay. To like certain things, and some of the gaming in this is really sweet and slow, right? Like, so they have like jigsaw puzzles, they have like coloring, right? Like it's just digital iteration of the types of things that kids would be doing anyway. So yeah, I don't know. I'm a little bit on the fence as to. I'm not saying yes or I'm not saying no, that whether it'd be a good thing or a bad thing. But from a user's perspective, but it is definitely that kind of. It's like at one stage I was thinking, God, if somebody really went for a safe environment for kids' digital media, then that could really make an answer to YouTube Kids, because YouTube Kids is still algorithmically curated at times, and there's a lot of there's obviously some great brands on there, but there's also a lot of stuff that's not of high quality on there as well. And
totally, it feels like there's an opportunity there.
Yeah, I'm not just talking about some stuff that leaks through. I mean, like, there's kind of it's YouTube style content, some of which is not as wholesome or healthy or nutritious. So we'll see how it goes. We'll be tracking developments on it anyway within the Netflix report.
Great. That's really interesting one to keep an eye on.
Awesome.
Great. Thanks, Emily.
Okay, do the sign off, Andy.
Okay, so I hope you enjoyed listening to that chat and that bonus episode. And please like and subscribe. Find us wherever you get your podcasts, and we'll see you next week.